Good afternoon. Could you please put your cell phones on silent, please? Thank you so much. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Newsom safely presiding. All persons having business before this court come nigh, and you shall be heard. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Thank you, Lair. Good afternoon, family, friends, and guests here and on all of our virtual guests. Welcome to this investiture of the Honorable Ayana Harris as County Court Judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida. Please remain standing as we ask three very special guests to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Daughters Caden, age 10, Kylan, age 8, and son Case, age 5.
Take off your mask.
And you guys can unmask just for the pledge. Mom says it's okay.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
Hold it up in the middle for your sister.
Okay, ready?
It's too much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our pledges keep getting cuter and cuter. Now, as we continue to remain standing, I would like to welcome someone who needs no introduction, a phenomenal human being and a beautiful speaker who also happens to be a U.S. District Judge, Marcia Cook.
Of course, just when you want it to, technology goes awry.
You're in state court now, Judge Cook.
Welcome.
To all that is good, to all that is holy, to all that is divine, to all those present here, to all those present in spirit, and to all those present in our hearts. Thank you for this moment as we honor our sister, friend, colleague, mother, daughter, wife, and judge. Give her guidance, give her wisdom, continue her gift of fairness as she begins this journey. Lift her up. Let us all say in our own way, amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Judge Cook, and if everyone could please be seated. On this very special day honoring Judge Harris, we have some special guests who've joined us. Please stand as I call your name so you can be recognized. And I don't know, everyone's well behaved today. I think it's because the federal judges are in the house. So I'm going to say, if you can, hold your applause to the end. We have via live stream Vicki Mendez, City Attorney from the City of Miami. We have from the New York State Supreme Court, Justice Carolyn Wade. That's cool. And for those of you that don't know, because I went to law school in New York and I actually interned for Judge Bud Goodman. I don't remember, was it Justice Bud Goodman? I did. I interned for him. It was a long time ago. But the Supreme Court, I think, is our version of circuit court. Only you get, a better title. So thank you so much for being here and visiting us here in Miami. From the U.S. District Court, Southern District, we have Judge Donald Graham. Judge Graham, welcome. Also from the U.S. District Court, Southern District, we have Judge Rod Smith, one of our alums of the County Court and Circuit Court. We have U.S. District Court, Southern District Magistrate Judge Chris McAlilly. Judge McAlilly, thank you for being here. You've already met the infamous and fabulous Marcia Cook. And we also have U.S. District Court, Southern District Judge Kathy Williams. We have from the Southern District Federal Public Defender's Office, Judge Harris's former boss, Michael Caruso. From the 17th Circuit, we have retired Judge Alona Holmes. She might be with us virtually. Judge Holmes, a wonderful friend of Miami. And we have retired Judge Taretha Lundy Thomas, former administrative judge of our county court division. And she's also here via live stream. We're going to give her a wave. From the Miami-Dade Bar, someone again who needs no introduction. She's here as often as I am, it seems. Sabrina Puglisi, President. From the Florida Association for Women Lawyers, Miami-Dade Chapter, we have Silvana Rosendi. Thank you for being here. Diane Karamis, who's the Vice President of the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Miami Chapter. Nikki Lewis-Simon, Board of Governors, representing the Florida Bar. And Nakia Ruffin, who's one of our beloved AOC lawyers, but she's also the president of the Gwen S. Cherry Black Women Lawyers Association. I also have to give a shout out to Marva Wiley. Where's Marva? There she is. Marva Wiley, past president of the Gwen S. Cherry Black Women Lawyers Association. And Travis Randolph. Travis is here via live stream. He's president in perpetuity of the Wilkie D. Ferguson Jr. Bar Association. And Richard Cooper, the executive director of Miami-Dade County League of Cities, also with us virtually. If there's anyone I forgot, please let Eunice know, or somebody send me a quick text, and I will certainly announce you as the program continues. Also here today, we have members of our Greater Court family. Carlos Martinez, our public defender, is with us on live stream. Hello, Carlos, and also former employer of Judge Harris and me. And on behalf of Kathy Fernandez-Rundle, our state attorney, we have Mr. Don Horn, who is her chief of chiefs, is what I would call you. And we also have Margaret Julian, who's here on behalf of Eugene Zenobi. She's deputy at the Regional Counsel's Office. Thank you for being here. And on behalf of our daily court partner, Harvey Rubin, our clerk of courts, we have Doreen Ruggiero, director. I also want to say thank you to the County Internal Services Department, specifically Adrian Callwood, the building manager, and his staff here at REG, who've been moving and replacing furniture and trying to, taping up outlets in the middle of the floor that I almost tripped over earlier today. But thank you to Adrian and his team for making this all possible. And I know people are crushed, but the REG venue, which is a warm spot for most of us, is no longer going to be the venue for the investitures. As of January, we'll be moving back to the DCC. So we've reopened DCC, and I'm happy to announce we'll be going back there. And finally, supporting our day-to-day court operations with their expertise and wisdom. The judiciary is nothing without them. We have Mary Larea, our court operations director. And we have our incredible AV team that has worked above and beyond to make these investitures come to all of you at the comfort of YouTube. And thank you to them. And of course, Eunice Sigler, our public information officer, who's here today, and Marissa Gavica, who's not with us today, but both of them who honestly put in incredible efforts to make this day possible. So thank you all so much for being here today. And now for remarks on behalf of the Florida Bar, as I previously introduced her, Nikki Lewis-Simon, who's an esteemed attorney, but also on the Board of Governors. Thank you so much, Ms. Simon.
Thank you, Chief Judge. And thank you, Judge Harris, for this opportunity to share a few words on behalf of the bar. What an incredible day this is. Literally, just over 2 years ago, or 731 days ago, to be exact, on December 16th, 2019, Judge Maisha Darrow, Judge Julie Harris Nelson, and Judge Ayana Harris were tapped by Governor DeSantis to serve as distinguished members of our judiciary. To say it was a remarkable Gold Star day really just doesn't do the day service. For women lawyers, and especially for women lawyers of color, for Black women lawyers, it was certainly an auspicious, promising shift in the atmosphere. Judge Harris and I met through the Gwen S. Cherry Black Women Lawyers Association some time ago. But we had a chance to deepen our relationship when I ran for, and ultimately lost, my first race for the Florida Bar Board of Governors in approximately 2015-16. We talked about our desire to serve where we were planted, but also we had a desire to serve a somewhat higher calling. For me, it was the Florida Bar Board of Governors. For Judge Harris, it was the bench. So as we gather this afternoon, I'm grateful to be in this great cloud of witnesses. We bear witness today to Judge Harris and this, her investiture, as the beautiful, undeniable product of faith, tenacity, resilience, and grit. that something on the inside, the embodiment of passion and perseverance in pursuit of a big dream, even a calling. We bear witness with you, Judge Harris, that delay is not always a denial, and even a denial today is not per se denial forever. And we say thank you to Judge Harris and to the village that supports you for answering your call to higher service. As a former assistant public defender in our 11th Circuit, a former assistant federal public defender for the Southern District of Florida, you know Judge Harris firsthand understands the myriad paths that bring our residents before the court, seeking a full and fair hearing, searching for relief, and desperate for justice. Our community is blessed to have you serving the great Miami-Dade County. So on behalf of my fellow Florida Bar Board of Governors and our broader community, thank you for your service.
And before I introduce our next speaker, we also have Hans Ottenot. Hans, I'm sorry, I missed you over there. He's past chair of the Judicial Nominating Commission, so thank you for all the hard work you gave us as a member of the Judicial Nominating Commission. You're also president of the Haitian Lawyers Association, and in your spare time, you're also a very good lawyer. So thank you for being here. I also want to point one other person out who's going to be embarrassed, but if they know me at all, they know I'm going to do this, and I think it's appropriate on today's occasion. The daughter of Marva Wiley, Danielle Gathers. I happen to have known her since she was, 3 years old or so, because she went to school with my kids from the beginning. She is, Google her. You can Google her now and find out who she is. But Danielle is a senior at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And she also happens to be the first woman of color president at MIT. And president of the President of the Student Association. So I know, I speak about you like you're my own, but we're so proud of you. And now, on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, Sabrina Puglisi, the president.
Chief Judge Safey, Judge Harris, judges, family, and friends. Ayana and I started at the state PDs together. We worked there, and then we actually started at the Federal Defender's Office on the same day. We went to Arizona, or New Mexico it was, for our training. We learned the federal system together. We enjoyed the camaraderie of the office. But that is not to say that it was always smooth sailing. You see, we did have a hazing period. It usually came from the direction of Hector Dopico and Jan Smith, who we worked with at the state PD's office also. And Hector reminded me of a story. I'm going to say it in his words because he's a better storyteller than I am. But he reminded me of a day that, according to him, Jan made the mistake of wearing what can only be described as a puffy shirt. You know, the one from Seinfeld with the ruffles? Throughout the day, many in the office took notice and commented on his daring fashion choice. And towards the end of the day, Brian Steckloff and Hector were sitting in Ayana's office when Jan walked in. And Ayana, too, commented on his shirt and said he looked like a pirate. Noticing her surprise, Hector told her that Jan had been recruited by Robert Capel to star in an attorney-only production that he was putting on of the comic opera The Pirates of Penzance. Now, although most would have never believed such a ridiculous story, Ayana fell victim to the ruse because, one, she was aware that Capel used to put on acting for lawyers seminars, and two, she was really quite offended and incredulous, wondering why he didn't choose her for the production, saying, "Why didn't he ask me? I am way more talented than Jan is." And in that moment, Jan burst into song, singing, "I am the monarch of the sea." One other time I recall was our first holiday party, and Jan and Hector said to us, "You know, the newbies in this office, you have to perform a dance." at the holiday party, and Ayana and I were like, we have to dance? And of course, being the competitive women that we are, and not to be outdone by anybody else who had apparently done a dance at the federal defender party. See, Judge Williams is looking at me like you guys were ridiculous. We practiced very hard. And, you know, even when we found out it was just a joke, we were like, we're still doing the dance. I mean, and I really don't even remember what song we danced to. Ayana, you probably do.
Ice, Ice Baby was in the mix.
Ice, Ice Baby, yeah. And I hope there's no videos floating around of that. You know, you're lucky that didn't get to the governor's office. But, you know, we did a good job. The thing about Ayana is that she's just so authentic, so genuine and kind, smart. It's like a light shines around her, and she walks into a room and everyone can see it. And she has made such an impression on so many people, whether it was the people she worked with at the state PDs or the federal PDs, whether it was the hundreds of clients that she has helped and literally saved lives over the years, or the many children that she has coached. Some of you may not realize that Ayana was a competitive cheerleader, and she has coached for many years the youth. She has been a director of the cheerleading. She has been a director on the Miami Extreme Youth Football League for the last 20 years. Her good friend Tati told me, there are so many stories I can tell you, but all of them would conclude with, she never tells anyone how she goes above and beyond. She never pats herself on the back or takes credit for anything. She is invaluable to us. Our program is successful because of her and her alone. The youth in the recreational community have a place to go and a league to participate in because of her loyalty. Ayana has made a lasting impression on everybody that she comes into contact with. But more than anything, she is a devoted wife and mother to her family. Today, we celebrate Judge Ayana Harris. Ayana, for all the youth that you have impacted, today you show them that through passion, dedication, and hard work, you can achieve anything that you want in life. And so I'm so very honored on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association to be able to bestow this Bible to my very good friend, Judge Ayana Harris.
We're moving along at a good pace if you guys want to do the dance for us right here. We have some plaques here commemorating the special day from the Conference of County Court Judges, a desk plaque that Judge Harrison's been waiting 2 years for, and also from the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, and I think I see Mr. Martinez sit out there, which I'm guessing he's got one from CABA. So you got stuff for the walls, thank you. And now for personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have Cynthia Goodworks, welcome. Director of the Stephen Weinstein Advocacy Program at American University School of Law. She's also the Judges Law School trial ad coach from Howard University and her mentor. Thank you so much and welcome.
May it please the court, family, friends, and honored guests, and of course, Judge Harris. Inside the hallowed halls of Howard University School of Law is where Judge Harris's journey to justice began, where she learned the art of advocacy, where her commitment to help the indigent was cemented, and where our student-teacher relationship began. Born with a heart for justice, raised knowing that it is a privilege to help others, and equipped with the fortitude to see it through, Judge Harris came to Howard to receive training in the Charles Hamilton Houstonian jurisprudence, to become a litigator and to answer the call to make her mark on the legal landscape. In the spring of her first year of law school, she was selected to fill one of the 20 slots on the elite and highly competitive mock trial advocacy team. I was entrusted with serving as the trial advocacy professor and coach of this team. Many run to the prestige of trial performance, but run from the pressure of preparation that it takes to become a great trial lawyer, not Judge Harris. As a first-year member of the team, she was a true student of her craft, a sponge for advocacy, fully immersing herself into evidence, practice, and procedure. She knew that practice and preparation were not optional, but were essential tools for excellence. Each practice session, she walked past the bronze statue of esteemed Howard alum and Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, paid her respects, touched his glasses, and entered the mock trial courtroom ready for class, practice, and scrimmages. Judge Harris quickly distinguished herself as a team member to be emulated, respected, and admired. Practice sessions were long, demanding, and intense. A hard worker, no one was going to outwork Judge Harris. You might beat her, but she was not going down without a fight. In competition, she was a formidable opponent, always bringing her Ayana A game. It warmed my heart as her professor and coach to hear a judge ask, "Will there be cross-examination of this witness?" And to hear Judge Harris confidently reply, "Indeed, there will be, Your Honor." A natural-born leader, I felt completely comfortable allowing Judge Harris to preside as the judge over scrimmage sessions. Her last year on the team, because of her legal acumen, leadership, and as we called it, tight trial skills, she was selected the captain of the team. She led her team back into a repeat performance, vying for a second national championship. In the end, while the opposing team may have won the round, Judge Harris never lost a round. She answered the call. I always had great confidence in Judge Harris's ability to perform, so when the late renowned trial attorney Johnny Cochran came to Howard and requested the opportunity to see my students perform, I knew exactly the student he needed to see. Following the prosecution's opening statement, understanding that this was a boxing match, corner bell sounding, ding ding, now is the time moment, Judge Harris pushed back her chair, rose from her seat, walked around counsel table, slammed her hand down on the table, announcing, "Contrary to what the state just told you, this case is not about." Now, I don't remember the rest of her opening. What I do remember is seeing Attorney Cochran put his blue Cartier pen down, put his hand under his chin, lean back in his chair, and smile as he watched Judge Harris perform. She answered the call. The third year of law school, I again had the opportunity to teach Judge Harris, as she was a student in my criminal justice clinic. I will forever cherish watching her handle a minor misdemeanor case as if it was a federal criminal case. Judge Harris paid so much attention to detail that she found exculpatory information in the discovery that led to the ultimate pretrial dismissal of all charges against her client. Teaching is one of the greatest privileges I have ever known. Watching a former student use the gift of advocacy for the greater good brings me joy beyond measure. Judge Harris, today Dean Danielle Holly Walker has issued a proclamation in recognition of your elevation, announcing today, December 17th, 2021, as Judge Ayana N. Harris Day at the Howard University School of Law. Wow. Judge Harris, your alma mater is forever proud of you. My dear Ayana, I am so proud today to watch you answer the call to become a gatekeeper for equity and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And now for further personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have Michael Caruso, the federal public defender for the Southern District of Florida, Judge Harris's former boss.
Thank you, Chief Judge Safey, family, friends, members of the bench. They say good things come to those who wait, but from the call from Tallahassee, we waited far too long. But we're here now, and we should celebrate the now, and we should celebrate the future, because with Judge Harris on the bench, our future is bright. And why is that? To make that point, I'll quote the author Bell Hooks, who passed away this week. Bell Hooks wrote that justice demands integrity. It's to have a moral universe, not only to know what is right or wrong, but to put things in perspective, weigh things, because justice requires a complex accounting. And Ayana Harris, now Judge Harris, through her life and work, understands this accounting and what a proper accounting demands, in particular for a judge. To say Judge Harris possesses integrity is a question that should not be asked. She would not have received the call from Governor DeSantis had she not possessed the most integrity that our community has to offer. And her career-long devotion to public service in the trenches, or in the pits, I think, as you call them in this building, of both state and federal court, gives her that perspective. But she also has other cherished qualities that I think are required of a judge. You know, first, in my mind, is her generosity. Sabrina talked about her work with her cheerleaders. And that work over the last 20 years, in addition to caring for her family, being, a public defender both in state and federal court, being a light for her friends, she's devoted so much time, not to only teaching these young women cheerleading, but to teaching them how to navigate this complex life that we lead. Through that work, she's impacted hundreds and hundreds of young women for the better. She's also very generous to her friends, and I count myself as her friend, thankfully. Her friends, in particular her lawyer friends, because we do practice in state and federal court, and we're subject to, I'm not going to say the whims, but the demands of the judges we practice in front of. Lead very busy lives, and we're so busy we often overlook the little things that makes life worth living, like birthdays. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't get those notifications that it's this person's birthday or that person's birthday. So I've missed birthdays, but I've never missed Judge Harris's birthday because of her generosity. She doesn't confine it to just one day. It takes place over the course of the entire month, which is a blessing to those who have schedules and can't always be there. It's also a blessing to the others who share a birthday in that month, because they get to share their birthdays with Judge Harris. She's also, of course, very loyal to her friends. I've witnessed that firsthand. But her loyalty goes way beyond her friends. She, if someone has been loyal to her, she remains loyal to them. Like, for example, years ago when most of us switched to Gmail for our email address, because of the ease of convenience of how that works, Judge Harris said, AOL has been so good for me. Why would I leave them now? And I really appreciate that. I switched to Gmail, but to get that "you've got mail" thing, that's cool. And Judge Harris still has that. And you might be able to see that personally, that type of loyalty. Hopefully, she doesn't have to run for re-election, but if she does, you'll be able to contribute to her campaign on her MySpace page. But I'm gonna finish today, with a story that has stuck with me. As those of you who practice in federal court know, every year the the Federal Defender's Office puts on a conference. And one year we had a conference at Hutchinson Island. It was during the sequester, so it was sort of a more low-key affair than when Judge Williams ran the event. And, you know, we were all gathering around, you know, lawyers from the FPD, you know, private practitioners, and Judge Harris was there. You know, I don't remember what we were talking about. Probably about judges, right? Because that's what we do. And while we were talking, Judge Harris's husband, Sam, walked up. And there was another lawyer in the group who, upon meeting Sam, said, "Oh, so you're the grand prize winner." So first of all, I thought to myself, how brave. Have you seen Sam? But second, absolutely true. And, you know, as a friend and a colleague to Ayana, you know, for so many years, you know, I've thought I've won a prize by having known her. And I think we should all be grateful, and thanks to Sam and Judge Harris's family for sharing Ayana, because now I think once she received that call from Governor DeSantis, our entire community has won a prize now that she's on the bench. And Judge Harris, what I've just said by no means was a labor, but it was the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Caruso. And now for the oath of office and robing, I would like to ask Judge Williams to join Judge Harris and her family at the podium for the oath. We welcome back up Caden, Kylan, and Case, and Sam Brinson, her husband, who may well be the tallest person we've had in this courtroom. Right. And also Leilani and Gordon Chamandale, her parents, and Robert Harris, her father, who's with us here virtually.
I'm going to take a point of personal privilege and say a few things before I swear in Judge Harris. Good morning, Chief Judge Safey, Judge Harris, colleagues, family and friends. Unlike my colleague and friend, Judge Cook, I am unreservedly old school. But like all of you, I have been waiting a long time for today. And it reminded me of something from my childhood. When my mother set up my desk for study, she put a poster right at eye level that said, "Patience is the leading virtue of all great minds." By that metric, Ayana Harris is the greatest mind of her generation. But by any metric, Ayana Harris is and will be a great judge. She is smart, she is hardworking and dedicated. She has an unwavering commitment to realizing the promises of equal justice, and she has the profound sense of responsibility and humility to sustain that commitment. She possesses the integrity and courage we demand from our judges and the unwavering sense of humor we need from them. And while I have waited a long time to finally be here, I know that this is not the final time myself or some other person will be swearing Ayana Harris into judicial office. I'm sure that Ayana's mother and Sabrina's mother and Judge Cook's mother all knew, as my mother did, that smart, determined, educated young girls need guidance and direction in a world that may not always see them or hear them. I know my mother did. That's why she put that poster up. And come to find out, St. Francis of Assisi, who she attributed the quote to, never actually said that. As far as I can tell, no one ever said that to anyone ever in the history of the world, except my mother to me. But it made an impression. And it made me research all these years what Francis of Assisi did say. And he did say something that has helped me through difficult times specifically the pandemic, that all the darkness in the world cannot extinguish a single candle. And those words were recently resaid by a remarkable, smart, determined young woman, the poet Amanda Gorman, who said, "For there is always a light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." All of our patience has been rewarded today because Ayana Harris is that light, and I am honored to swear her in as a judge of this court. If you would come forward, and I hope we have a Bible. I think we had a Bible. Sabrina gave you it. Yeah. And perhaps if someone could hold that Bible for you, and you'll raise your right hand. Yes, Mom. All right, left hand on the Bible, right hand. I, Ayana Harris, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States of America and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold this office under the Constitution of the state of Florida, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of Judge of the County Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit of the State of Florida, on which I am now about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations, Judge Harris.
I will say zipper.
You'll say zipper. I say zipper today.
Yeah. It's in the onboarding process now with new judges as we tell them zippers.
There needs to be a notation.
And before you come back up here, why don't you take a family photo? Don't mind the awkward silence. Case. There you go. Everyone can please, oh. And everyone please be seated. This higher, because you're like way tall.
Thank you.
Is it tall enough?
Yep, I think that's fine. Thank you. Chief Judge Safi, or Noosh, it's Chief Judge Noosh to me. Judges, esteemed colleagues, all of you, thank you so much for being here. You know, when I was appointed, which was 2 years ago yesterday, I was just thinking about my son, who's now 5, taking off his little Batman mask. And the day that I was appointed 2 years ago, he was 3. He had just turned 3, and I was thinking about how much better these pictures are going to be, because I believe he's picking in his nose in the picture with the governor, which is such a fantastic memory. Just to kind of illustrate the times. Wow. This day has been a long time coming. And I think the most humbling thing that I've ever done in my professional career is to put on this robe. Because for 20 years, I was a trial lawyer. For 20 years, I tried cases in the pits, in the trenches. And for 20 years, I talked about y'all. We do. This stupid judge. I'm now that stupid judge. Wait a minute. How that, wait, hold on, wait a minute. You still want to be the cool kid? You're not. It is so humbling because it's such an awesome responsibility. And I think about my journey. Folks have talked about how long it took. It took a really long time, but that's okay because everything in life happens in its due season. How many applications was it, people would ask? Well, not that we were counting, but it was 15 over 7 years. 15 applications, 15 nominations, 24 seats, 14 no's, and of course, 1 yes. And over that 7-year period, I met so many incredible people that helped me on this journey. You know, there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. But when you grow up and when you become adult, your village only widens, hopefully. And there are all these people that you encounter in life that hold you up and that strengthen you. And I'm so grateful for so many people that have held me up at the times that I wasn't sure that I could keep going. I'd like to thank Governor DeSantis and Joe Jaco for entrusting me with this opportunity. I only had 2 applications before Governor DeSantis, and I'd like to believe that he looked at my application and thought, you know, she's really qualified. Either that or he said, I don't want to see her name another 15 times. I know where this is going. She's resilient. I'd also like to thank my colleagues at the Federal Public Defender's Office. You all held me up and encouraged me and joked with me and laughed with me and also cried with me at every single no. And during our Christmas party, when I got that call 2 years ago, you celebrated with me like true friends do. There are so many incredible memories that I have of our times in the office. Kathy Williams hired me, and as Sabrina said, hired us both, and we started on the same day. And it was just such an awesome place to learn and to grow. And it's a really stressful job to represent poor people because you're seeing people at their very worst, at their most vulnerable. And when you represent indigent, a lot of people think that you think that what they're accused of is okay. And that's not even part of the analysis. You're committed to justice. You're committed to our Constitution. You're committed to all parts that demand equal justice, the right to counsel, the right to a jury trial, the right to just all of the things that are promised in our Constitution but not often realized in daily practice. That is your commitment as a public defender. And I did that for my entire legal career because it was a part of who I became in law school in terms of Cynthia's guidance. She was an ex-DC PDS lawyer, and after I interned there and after I did trial ad, I decided that I wanted to commit myself to public service. And I remember you telling me years ago, be a sponge, soak up the things around you, learn from the people around you. And I'd like to believe that I've learned from everyone around me. You know, when you do these interviews, right, you'd start getting sort of the same questions over and over again. There were a lot of interviews. And they'd often ask, well, what makes a good judge? And when I first started interviewing, I'd throw out maybe 2 or 3, you know, sort of adjectives that we all think that judges should have. They should be humble, they should be committed to the law. But then I just started reflecting on the fact that I was a trial lawyer for 20 years, and I appeared in front of a lot of judges. Long before I walked into Judge Huck's courtroom, I'd been in Judge Daryl Trawick's courtroom, and I learned that if court starts at 8:30 and you arrive at 8:25, you are already late, my friends. And JR and Albert were, of course, around to make fun of me huffing and puffing, running down the street, parking at the old garage that's now a gas station that's now a condo building, but trying to get to court to make it on time for Judge Trawick's courtroom. Judge Julio Jimenez, may he rest in peace, taught me the value of hard work. He's one of the hardest working judges I've ever appeared in front of. Judge Schwartz, Judge Larry Schwartz, encouraged me to apply for the bench when Marva Wiley, who was the then chair of the Judicial Nominating Commission, said, we're not getting a good cross-section of applicants. We need more diversity. We need more women. Judge Schwartz encouraged me to apply. And I was on maternity leave with Kylan, who's now 8, and literally turned in my first JNC application with a baby carrier on my shoulder in the middle of the rain, because I heard what he said and I felt it, and I thought about my time in these hallowed halls. I know it's not the civil courthouse, but this is home for me. And I wanted to be committed to having a bench that looks like our community, and not only diversity, racial diversity, but also just diversity of practice, diversity of experience. Those things are so incredibly important. When I got to federal court, and we joked because all my colleagues here, my federal court colleagues, showed up at 11:30 because they know in federal court you better be on time. But when I got to federal court, Kathy Williams took a chance on me, and then Michael Caruso took the baton when she took the bench. And Michael, I don't know another boss who would have been so supportive of somebody that was applying for another job. You believed in me, you trusted me with some of the biggest cases that came through your office, and more than anything, you supported me every single time you got a phone call. And for that, I'm forever grateful. To my family, there really are no words. You are my original village. You are my original teachers. You are the ones that hold me up and encourage me and love me regardless. My sisters, my brother, a couple of them couldn't be here today, but I'm so grateful for your support. I'm so proud of you. My brother Malik, who's my older brother, one of the greatest titles I could ever wear when I was a kid was being your little sister. My bonus dad, who came into my life at 8. I don't know how you did it, because I look at my 8-year-old and I'm like, oh boy, wow, it's amazing that you decided to stay with a mouthy, stubborn, strong-willed 8-year-old kid, but you did it, and I am forever grateful. My dad, Robert Harris, I know you're out there. I know you're watching. I know how much you wanted to be here. You've always been there for me through every stage of my life, and this pandemic has presented some unique challenges, and we've all had to kind of roll with the punches. But Daddy, I know that you love me, and I know that you're here in spirit. And Mom, the first judge and jury. She gives a rough, you don't want a bench trial in front of her. She had that look that could silence an entire court, you know, entire church pew. One look back and we're all like, oh boy. Mom, you know, you are my counsel, my center. I remember I would call you and run cases by you. I think for years my mom thought I was a prosecutor. Judge Hecklebush, she did. I'd run cases by her and she'd be like, so wait, you're defending this guy? Wait, what is that about? Mom, you've always been about the right thing. You've always said, do what's right and things will come to you in due season. Be honest, work hard, and give to others. You are by far the most giving person that I've ever met in my life, and everything that I am is because of you. To my children, Caden, Kylan, and Case, I am so sorry for making you recite the pledge every single day for a month. Case is in pre-K, and he hadn't recited the pledge yet. He just started, so they were in the car reciting every day, and I think you guys did a great job. I'm so proud of you. You probably don't fully realize the significance of this day yet, but one day you will, and just know that every single thing that I do for you. In Case, if you ask him what mommy does, he was home with me when the pandemic hit. I basically became a judge and then was home on YouTube. And Case will tell you, Mommy, you tell people, be quiet, I'm gonna mute you. And I'm like, that's about, that's about right. That's about right. And Sam, my rock, the glue that holds our family together. I love you for loving me so selflessly, and it is only by your support that I'm able to give so much of myself. Thank you. Now I'm gonna wrap up soon, but I have to give some shout outs to folks that have become my village. The JNC members who, my gosh, at one point I think we were seeing each other once every other month. Bob Pardo, Christine Hernandez, Robert Fernandez, Paul Huck, Melanie Damon, Luis Suarez, especially Marva Wiley and Hans Atnat. Thank you for supporting me, calling me, sometimes threatening me to get in that application and keep going. Thank you so much. My Miami Extreme family, my Florida Memorial family, Kaylin James is here, all of the folks from North Miami Beach, Sun Devils, my federal public defender family, Michael, Hector, Somia, Laney, Abby, Boomy, Christy, Kirsten, Katie, Julie, Chris Dunham, Iris, Alexis, Sheila, Laura, Yamil, Frankie. I know that I'm forgetting someone, Tracy D, who helped me with all my appeals. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. My DV crew, they are in emergency hearings, and actually I'm on signing duty today, and someone's covering for me, thank you. But Carol DJ, Christy Bandon, who always answers her phone, who's a great lifeline when I have no idea what to do. And my North Dade crew, Linda, Mimi, Natalie, Shaka, Raul, and now Fred. People told me how special North Dade was, but you really have to be there to experience it. Thank you so much for taking me in as your own and for holding me up, and especially during the pandemic, which sometimes I joke that I may have brought about because I kept saying I'm never going to get appointed, and then I got appointed, and then the pandemic hit, and I felt like I owed apologies. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you. You're such a special group, and I'm so blessed and lucky to be a part of it. To my personal staff, which sounds weird to even say, personal staff, they're more than that. Janai Hudson, who's been my friend for almost 20 years. We coached cheerleading together, and she kept my life straight during the cheerleading days, so I knew she'd make a great judicial assistant. And Cecilio Sanchez, who is the best team dad that anybody could ever ask for. I've coached his daughter for the past 5 years, and he was Mr. Get It Done on the football field, and he's Mr. Get It Done in the courtroom, and I appreciate you so much. And Nikki, who is Judge Kalatny's JA, and shout out to Judge Kalatny, I know she wanted to be here, who's also just one of my closest friends. And Aaron and Todd Michaels from the Public Defender's Office, the best trial partner and friends that anybody could have. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. You all have treated this day like it was your own. I'm gonna leave you with this. 20 years ago, I graduated from law school. I just celebrated my 20th law school anniversary. And my grandfather, who passed away right after I took the job at the Federal Public Defender's Office. In fact, when I got the call from Kathy Williams and I told her that I was home in California because my grandfather was ill, and Kathy told me that I'd gotten the job, which was so incredible. And my grandfather passed away a couple weeks after that, but he knew that I'd gotten the job. 20 years ago, he came to my law school graduation at Howard. And once all of us had graduated and we stood up and they announced our class, my grandfather said, "They're gonna let all of you guys be lawyers?" That was my reaction, right? Because my perspective and my world was so different. But my grandfather at the time was 81 years old. He had a second grade education. He was raised in Louisiana. He was the son of sharecroppers. And for him, he could not imagine a whole room of African American students becoming lawyers. That wasn't his perspective. And the day that Julie and Maisha and I were appointed, it was historic, but it was so long overdue. It was 2019, and we're still having these firsts. When we were appointed, Tanya Brinkley was the only woman on the entire circuit that was African American. I'm glad that now that there's Judge Hekwaba and of course Judge Lancey, we can get a table and get gratuity automatically added, which happened to us, and we were surprised but grateful. Judge Soto said last week at the Big Six investiture that she was glad that our judiciary is starting to reflect the community that it serves, and so am I. There's always work to be done, but I'm so glad and so proud to be a part of this bench and to be a part of all of you who have held me up and encouraged me. And Judge Rodney Smith, I see you there. We've had a number of conversations as well. Thank you so much. I do this so that children that look like mine and yours and all of ours can grow up in a community that represents them to the best of our abilities and is committed to justice. Thank you so much for being here.
Here's to a day where 3 black women being appointed is not remarkable. Judge Harris, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our Miami bench. I'm happy to say that I got to know you in the pits. I didn't realize that going to the feds meant you didn't have pits, that you had, what is it, trenches? Trenches are better than pits, I'm gonna guess. But I also want to point out that many of the people who were Judge Harris's colleagues in the trenches were also colleagues of hers in the pits. I think it's important. I'm glad you highlighted the fact that you were a lifelong public defender prior to becoming a judge. I, too, was a lifelong public defender before becoming a judge, and I think it is important. I think diversity of background that you highlighted was incredibly important. And here's a shout out to all the people who went from the pits to the trenches and that are here today. So yeah, when I started with you, we were in front of Judge David Miller, who's still one of our colleagues. How weird is that, right? Yeah, it's weird. And I remark on what the personal remark said, because I remember meeting you. I was the A attorney. You were a brand new C. You filled up the courtroom, and you owned your space at a time when young women owning their space in a courtroom was just not something that was typical. And hearing all the comments about you now, I see, that's who you've been all along. You were polished, you were prepared right out of the gate, and it was really fun to watch you. And it's been fun to be sort of on the sidelines of your career, and I'm so happy you're one of us now. So with that, court's going to be in recess. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to greet the judge and her family, you can come down and join us over here in this little space. Watch the plugs on the floor. In the pits, we don't have smooth floors. So if you can please, and then you're going to be exiting out that door. And if you're a member of the public, you're going to be going out to the right. If you're a member of the judiciary, you're going to be going out to the left. And with that, on behalf of the judges and staff of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida, I'd like to say thank you, and court is now in recess. Michael's going to take a picture of you and me. Michael.
Thank you.